I now request Dr. Sandhya Kumaran Madam for a welcome address, please.
I'll begin with a quote that I came across recently, which says, "Transformation is an ongoing process that tends to appear ordinary, that in fact something extraordinary is taking place." Good afternoon. We have all gathered here today for the release of an NIRDPR study report titled "In Search of Excellence in Rural Transformation, the Man Ki Baat Stories." On this special occasion, it is my privilege to heartily welcome the Director General of NIRDPR, our mentor and guiding light, Dr. G. Narendra Kumar IAS, to this event. Welcome, sir. On behalf of NIRDPR, a hearty welcome to Sri Praveen Mahato, Chief Economic Advisor at ORD, who is here with us today online, representing the Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India. Welcome, sir. It's also my privilege to welcome Srimati Shruti Patil, ADG PIB, to this august occasion. I welcome all the representatives of the media and press who are present here today. Special welcome to the SRLM officials present here and also the 55 young fellows who are working in 55 Gram Panchayat clusters across our country. Welcome to the esteemed faculty members of NIRDPR and staff and the study team of the report in particular. Welcome to all those who have joined online to attend this event. May I now invite Dr. C. Katharesan, Associate Professor NIRDPR, to provide us with an overview of the research study. Thank you.
So, very good afternoon to all. It's a very important occasion for all of us. That last 2 months, very hard work has been put to bring out this particular study report. I'm just giving only the brief about what is the background about this study and how it has done something, so that we can have a glimpse of it, what you are going to listen, the results and everything, all the media people also here actually. Friends, this particular study on impact of Man Ki Baat program on RD schemes, Amrit Sarovar mission and SHGs, is conducted by our team, NIRDPR team, with a request from MORD. Yeah, next. So, all of you know that actually, the Man Ki Baat program, you know very well, many of you might have heard already. In the last week of the Sunday, Prime Minister connects with the people in the radio. It's one of the very unique program initiated in the year 2014, which is called as India's first visually enriched radio program. That means the radio program parallelly happens, and also in the YouTube and other thing, live you can see the actual videos and other thing, what PM is mentioning, and he directly interacts with the people something. So that has become something like a unique radio program. It has almost traveled from 2014 to 2023. So far, for your information, 99 episodes have been completed. So that is the main thing actually. And now we are entering, the program is entering into the 100th episode on 30th April 2023, 11 a.m. That means coming Sunday. So in this connection actually, all the ministries are doing their own effort to do see that is that this program is really had any effect on the ground. That particularly in our RD ministry, Rural Development Ministry, has been interested with to study. PM's mentioned in different episodes, something, so many activities he mentioned. Particularly 2 schemes have been taken for this study. One is on Amrit Sarovar mission and also SHGs, self-help groups. PM has a lot of mentions, individual people mentioned, and also a group of community activities mentioned. We could able to cull out from all the 99 episodes and brought some things. The ultimate aim of this study is, before moving to after the 100th episode, before moving to the next level of things, even the PM office and other thing ministries want to know whether this particular Man Ki Baat program has any ripple effect or the amplified effect in the rural areas, whether people are really adopting and the particular program has been awareness has been created and all things. That was the main motive actually, and also to study the impact of the scheme pre and post Man Ki Baat mention actually. So under this study, we undertook 2 major schemes. One is SHGs, the NRLM scheme, and also Amrit Sarovar mission actually. Next. So friends, after undergoing a rigorous review of 99 earlier episodes of last 9 years, our team at NIRDPR, we have gone episode by episode, listening the episode as a team. So finally we found out almost 12 topics we found out, 12 mentions in that, and finally we finished with 10 actually. This is the list is given actually. 6 studies we gone in detail about SIGs and 4 Amrit Sarovar. These are the list what you are seeing in the screen as the thing as a special mention by Prime Minister in the Amrit Sarovar program. So we wanted to study these things. What is the effect over the period last 5 years or something. Some programs are very recent. Last 2 months before, in case of 2 months before, that also our people went and studied to give you one comprehensive idea and think how this has been done. So these things, if you see that the list what you are seeing here, something related to handicrafts and other things that SMSG is working on as a cluster, working on handicrafts, something on bamboo crafts, Kisan Chachi, it's agro-based one group is there in our Bihar. And waste to wealth, it is a very, very interesting, very recently in the February month this was mentioned actually in Odisha. It has happened actually, that you will be seeing that results later. And one instant in rice mill in Jabalpur and also slipper making unit in UP. These are very interesting case studies, specifically catch hold the attention of our Honorable Prime Minister, and it was a specific mention. So we thought of going and studying there whether these people are really having any big impact has been created because of this program, they got any advantage or anything like that. Like that, in one episode itself, a special episode, PM covered a lot of Amrit Sarovar related farm pond and Amrit Sarovar related activities. In that 4 mentions are there, all the 4 locations our team went and had a study. Next. Friends, this is our study team, what I mentioned here, a 21 member team led by our respected Director General's guidance. This team, all the team members, actually 2 members from each location. These 10 locations our people went, they stayed there and 3 days, some places 4 days they stayed and conducted the study in detail. Whether having a different methodology used, I will come back to that part now. And just I want to showcase this is a team here. Next. So actually what is the methodology we used here? After a lot of deliberation, this thing under the guidance of Director General sir. So what we thought of actually what type of results we wanted to see, because the impact we are not seeing very much quantitative. It is a more of a qualitative aspect, because Mann Ki Baat is a program, how much it is really impacted, it has created any, what is that, trigger in the things, keeping all the things in mind. These are some of the methodology we adopted, the main thing. A uniform methodology was developed based on the effective evidence building. Data collection was done through interviews, focus group discussions, and also field observations and documentation of the interventions. These are the different way of things we collected here. And common interview and focus group discussion questions were varied by the team based on the desk study. Before going to the field itself, team has done the desk study, because a common questionnaire cannot be adopted for all things, because each case was different. So based on the exposure there and how much they already have penetrated, impact has created, accordingly questionnaires were modified and specific questionnaires are created for each activity. Okay. And the orientation was given to the team before going to the field here. And qualitative case analysis framework was based on cause-effect relations, pattern formation and logic models at individual and group levels. And also individual case reports written by the teams were further analyzed, and a team of 4 members led by Director General sir, they had done the cross-case analysis. Within the SHG groups, is there any comparisons there? Why something is performing better, why it's not performing? Very detailed cross-case analysis has been done. Our team is going to present it now after me actually. One by you are going to see that what type of results you are listening. And also the case comparison perspective and with cross-case comparisons done separately for SHG micro enterprises and also for the Amrit Sarovar. So that we will get here some inputs, and this report, when you send it to MORD, they will have some, how they have to take it further and other things. Keeping all these things in mind, a detailed case comparison analysis, cross-case analysis was done actually. Next. Yeah. So as I mentioned that, as an outcome of almost 40 days, very vigorously, non-stop we are working, the team is working there, and the 10 teams, they submitted their report separately. Individual case reports have been submitted. A very detailed report has been submitted as a individual case reports. Based on that individual case report, this 4-member team led by Director General sir and Dr. Sandhya, Dr. Vani and Dr. Sonal, all the team, they worked very rigorously analyzing all the inputs, and they come out with a case cross-case comparison report actually. That is a report what we are going to get released today, both volume 1. So this is, I am happy that actually today we come to the, as per the schedule, we are completing today, and we happily come out with a lot of really interesting findings. My colleagues will be presenting after me all the findings one by one very quickly for all your benefit actually. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Vanishri Joseph, Madam, to please brief us on SHG case studies.
Thank you. Now, I will quickly take you through the cases which we have studied under self-help groups. So in total, like Dr. Katareshan has mentioned, we have studied 6 cases under self-help groups across India. So what we have studied is like what activities they have taken and how it has drawn the attention of Prime Minister. And once Prime Minister mentioned in his Mann Ki Baat address what impact it has created in their micro enterprise activity. Not only with them, I mean, we have compared that with the other, we had comparison group also. I mean, the SIGs, whether they have influenced the other members, so on and so forth. So let me get you through the first case. First case is in Tanjavur, in Tamil Nadu. So Tanjavur, you all know, like they are famous for the dolls, the traditional dolls, which is made out of clay. So there were like many producer groups, I mean the traditional artisans who were formed into producer groups, especially women, who were making dolls. And they were looking for marketing opportunity. So the district administration took the help of another SIG to market the products produced by those groups. So when they initiated this project, it was like convergence of different schemes. So under urban scheme, they established a kiosk, one kiosk, and all the nearly 10 producers group, they came together and they gave their products to this particular SIG who is running the kiosk, and they started selling the product. This happened in February 2022. And once they started, they sent few geotagged products to the Prime Minister's office. And Prime Minister, that's how they drew the attention of the Prime Minister. And in one of the Mann Ki Baat address, Prime Minister said about the products which sent by those women. So immediately after the next day, I mean, the news spread like a fire, and these people got the attention of the media, and they got the attention of the district administration once again, and they got the attention of the bank. So within a span of 10 months, now they were able to establish 5 kiosks, and their turnover is like more, it's like around 55 lakhs. When we calculated for 1 year, it is like 55 lakhs. So they started with rupees 20,000 and now it is like 55 lakhs. They started with 10 producer groups and now it is like 22 producer groups who are contributing to the kiosk, I mean who are making dolls. And when they started with, like, there were only 5 women who were interested in selling, and now with 5 shops, 5 more women have got jobs. I mean, there is a rise in income and there is recognition among the society, and now their kiosk is expanding to the other parts of the district as well. And when we went for the case study, we were told like people from other districts are also coming and looking at their models. So they wanted to emulate this model elsewhere in other districts. So this is about the first case, and the second case is another interesting case from Assam. And in 2 episodes, Prime Minister mentioned about bamboo clusters. And that was picked up by Assam SRLM, and then they trained 200 women from 21 SHG groups in Baluki district. So Baluki district is famous for traditional crafts which they do from bamboo. So after that they were trained technically, because these people were good in crafting, but the concept of technology, how to use machineries and how to do marketing, that was supported by Assam SRLM, Tribac and Netvi. And they were trained with different design aspects as well. So once that had happened, and once Prime Minister mentioned about their initiative, these people, now they have got international orders. So they export their products under Made in India banner. So that is one interesting story. And the third one is about our Kishan Chachi, who has got Padma Shri award. Next, please. And there is one famous serial has been also made about her story.
So her case is very interesting. I mean, initially she got trained and she started producing pickles, papads, and other homemade food products. And then she motivated 300 other women to involve into this kind of activity. And now these women, they make pickles, papads, and other consumables. And Kishan Chachi takes care of the marketing aspect. Looking at their model, several other SIG women in nearby panchayats and in nearby districts, they also started having their own food processing unit. And one which we noted is like the mushroom cultivation and processing unit, which is coming up. So this is like because they got inspired from her activity and the SIG group. There was like a substantial increase in the income of these SIG women. So that motivated other women also to replicate this model. And the next case one, can you move the next slide, please? And this is not all about like how much income these women are making, but what they are contributing to the society. So the lady whom you can see in the picture, the lady who is the old lady, she started collecting the plastic waste in and around her village. When she was doing that, they call her as a garbage lady, but she used to make crafts. I mean, all those which she's showing, I mean, which is displayed here are like the crafts which are made out of plastic waste, plastic bags, wrappers, covers, whatever is in plastic, that was made into beautiful handicraft product. I mean, this is only the one SIG which is doing all these activity, and they are not for money. I mean, they sell the basket for 70 rupees or 100 rupees. I mean, here the part which we wanted to focus is like how social conscious they are, how environmental conscious they are. So that is like making waste to wealth. And now this model is getting replicated once it got the Prime Minister's attention. And the kind of social empowerment they do among the women, the old women, is amazing. And the next case is about, next slide please, it is Chichgaon in Madhya Pradesh. This has happened during Corona time. I mean, all these women, this is also a story of one particular SIG. All these women were working as laborers in one of the rice mills, and during Corona time, when the rice mill, everything was shut down, they thought that why can't we run the rice mill on our own? Because the owner was about to sell the rice mill. He couldn't make it out during Corona time, and these women collectively, they bargained with the person, they pooled their resources from their savings, from CIF, and from bank loan. See, now they are running this rice mill, and once we went to the field, like we were told, like now they are into turmeric and chili processing. They have established that unit as well. So they are growing very slowly but steadily. And one more interesting thing is like because of this activity, a few women, like two women in particular, one has been recognized by the Gram Panchayat, and now she contested in the election, and now she is one of the members of the local governing body, and another one got recognized by one of the political party, and she is made as the party president at the block level. So it has given them a kind of opportunity to empower themselves politically as well. And another case, the last one, which, can you move the slide please, is from Karipur. This is also a story about an individual SIG, like who experimented with various micro-enterprising activity, and finally they found like slipper making unit will give them profitable income. They tried, once Prime Minister visited their village for Kumbh Mela in 2017, he visited their stall as well. So at that point of time, they were selling some handicrafts and candles. So Prime Minister was like motivating them to do some other activity and to get the support of Ajivika. So being motivated by that incident, so they were exploring various other opportunities. Then finally they submitted a project proposal to the UPSRLM. They got money and they established their slipper making unit. And another notable thing we have to mention here is like that village is remotely located and they don't have any proper roads. Once they got popularized because of Mann Ki Baat talk, roads were laid down, and people now were happy that all their marriage procession could pass through the road, which they consider like it's a matter of social prestige. So these are the cases which I have presented quickly, all the 6 case studies which have done in SHGs. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Dr. C. Dheeraja madam to brief us on Amrit Sarovar case studies, please.
Good afternoon to all. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share the Amrit Sarovar study. So in this study, we have studied the impact of Man Ki Baat on how the Amrit Sarovars, so impact of Amrit Sarovar and how the Man Ki Baat has accelerated the impact of Amrit Sarovar. Next. So to give small background, the Amrit Sarovar was launched on 24th April 2022. It is very recent phenomena, and it was launched National Panchayat Day, and it is like having 75 Amrit Sarovars in each district. The mission objective is to have 75 Amrit Sarovars in each district. And taking this, because the same day, 24th April, the Man Ki Baat episode was also broadcasting, Honorable PM has mentioned about the importance of water conservation. So why water conservation is very much need for today's life, and how Amrit Sarovars can contribute for that. So in that way, he has mentioned in his Man Ki Baat episode on 24th April itself. And because of that, there was lot of motivation across the country. It is that though the mission says 75 Amrit Sarovars per district, but the response was huge, and the Amrit Sarovars, the sites identified were almost like 131 sites were identified across the country for Amrit Sarovars, and in 68,557 Amrit Sarovars work started, and 44,613 Amrit Sarovars were already constructed. So this was the huge response for the Man Ki Baat that was broadcasted on 24th April 2022. Then after 4 months, that is 28th August, PM has again mentioned what are the best practices that were going there across the country. So in 4 states, he has mentioned such best practices, and this has given like much more motivation for the others. So we went and studied these 4 Amrit Sarovars across the country. Okay, next. So these are the 4, like Dr. Kadireshan was already sharing with you. It was in the state of Telangana. Warangal was one district, and Mangtavalya Tanda is the one village where this Amrit Sarovar was there. And again, to mention this, it was not because of any district officials' efforts or the state official efforts that Honorable PM has mentioned this in the Man Ki Baat. It was the Doordarshan who has identified such best practices and has informed, and these were highlighted in the Man Ki Baat. So it was a surprise for the state and district also. So all of a sudden it was mentioned in the Amrit Sarovar. So that is what was happened. And these are the team members. So the entire study was taken up by the Center for Wage Employment and Poverty Alleviation Center of NIRD under the able guidance of DG sir. So we have all the faculty and project staff of our center have done this study. Okay, next. So the objective is basically here we are trying to see what is the impact of Amrit Sarovar and how Man Ki Baat has accelerated the impact of Amrit Sarovar. That was the main purpose of this study. Next. So as part of methodology, already Dr. Kadireshan was mentioning, we have interacted with all the key stakeholders like implementing officials, wage seekers of NREGA, farmers who were and villagers. So through focus group discussions we have interacted, and also we have selected 20 to 25 members in the village who got benefit out of this Amrit Sarovar, and we have analyzed both qualitative and quantitative analysis also was done, and some best case studies were also documented. Out of this, in this village, who were the farmers who got big benefit out of this Amrit Sarovars, and how Man Ki Baat impacted, that also was documented. For when we were trying to study the impact, we focused on the farm and non-farm livelihoods, how they are accelerated because of Amrit Sarovar, and also how because of Man Ki Baat that got much more better. In that way we have studied. Okay, next. So basically, for the audience sitting here, I just wanted to put few lines about Amrit Sarovar. Amrit Sarovar says it, the mission objective is to have 75 Amrit Sarovars across the district. That was the target, and it will be like 1 acre, minimum 1 acre of pondage, and 10,000 cubic meters is what was initiated, what was thought of to have the in Amrit Sarovar. So it was like different departments got converged here: MORD, MOPR, Jal Shakti, Ministry of Culture and Environment, Forest, Climate Change. So many ministries. It is a convergence program, and even BISAC is one institute which was giving the technical support to the program. So here the sites were selected based on the availability of land, availability of the drainage line, and then the topography, then soil type, soil nature. So based on that, the sites were selected. This district was coming with a action plan. So how many sites have to be selected? Who will be the implementing agency? How the funding will come to this? So these are all who will monitor this Amrit Sarovar. So in that way, district has come out with action plan. Okay, next. So here in the Amrit Sarovar, it is like even this Amrit Sarovar should get approved in Gram Sabha, that is one, and common signage board should be there, and it is more important, geotagging also should be given, and plantation and beautification of the Sarovars also was insisted. And festivals, basically, it is one of the new thing that has come out in this Amrit Sarovar is that community mobilization, how the community has to come together to celebrate, either it is national festival or local festival, because we have seen when we went, Tees festival was celebrated, Batukama was celebrated near Amrit Sarovar. So how to unite people to come together, that is also one of the objective of this Amrit Sarovar. And people's participation was also insisted, like through Shramdans, through CSR contributions, how they can contribute for this Amrit Sarovar. Then monitoring committees were there at all levels, national, state and district level, even panchayat level. And there was a separate portal also for Amrit Sarovar, and separate mobile app also was there to monitor and track how the Amrit Sarovars were going on. Okay, next. So based on this, we went to the field and had few observations, like post Man Ki Baat. It has, like, as I said, it was not because of the effort of either state government or the district government. So it was something by the like Doordarshan, how it was squatting and then got the best practices. So once it came, it was highly publicized. When it was mentioned in Man Ki Baat, it was highly publicized in print media and also the visual media, and which motivated people a lot. So here post Man Ki Baat, it generated lot of attention of the state as well as the district for that particular areas, and it highly motivated the villagers, their enthusiasm, and to come forward and to take more and more water conservation activities, not just Amrit Sarovar. Then Amrit Sarovar have emerged as a solution in few areas for water stressed areas, especially where the water problem was there. But in one of the case where we went, it was like for even flooding also, it was one of the solution. And main funding for this Amrit Sarovars were from NREGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, and of course 15th Finance Commission also has contributed in some areas, and CSR also was tapped. But now the villagers are more enthusiastic to tap more and more funds for this Amrit Sarovars. Then if you see, by and large, the Amrit Sarovars, they have been completed from 3 months to, it took like 9 months also in some period, 5 months to 9 months also it took. There was difference in the construction because the size of the Amrit Sarovars varied. So in some part it was like 0.5 acres, but it varied to 2.5 acres also out of these 4 Amrit Sarovars. Only in Bagalkot it was the old Amrit Sarovar which was renovated, but in other areas it was the new pond that was dug. So to our, because still in one Amrit Sarovar work is going on, but to our surprise, all these 4 Amrit Sarovars were full of water by this rainy season, and this water also it was like from 6 to 10 months it was available for the people. So just one small pond in a village, how it can make difference for the village, that we could see through this Amrit Sarovars. Next. So due to geographical, topological and soil nature and other things, there was a difference in cost also. Cost of Amrit Sarovar differed from place to place, and plantation was done, and beautification also was done, and user groups were there in place. Then farmers, they got benefit most, and by quantitative analysis we could see that in these 4 the benefit that came to the farmers ranged from 10,000 to 80,000 per acre. It was something very interesting, because some farmers got very big benefit also. And it has built strong social capital. National festivals were celebrated, people were gathering there, and because of beautification, youth were going and sitting there and enjoying the nature. That also happened. Led to there were some common facilities across in all the Amrit Sarovars. We could see some common facilities like parks were there, then benches were there. Then open gymnasium was there, nurseries were there, flag hoisting post was there. So in that way, some additional facilities were also created with this Amrit Sarovar. So Amrit Sarovars in all 4 cases also have they emerged like one important benefit that got from this is they have served as a drinking source for the livestock. So in all the Amrit Sarovars, the livestock got benefited by this drinking water, and it also attracted migrant birds also. That is one of the important things that we have seen in these Amrit Sarovars. Okay, next. So just to see the cause-effect relationship of Amrit Sarovar and how Mann Ki Baat has accelerated this. So there was some if we see the Amrit Sarovar as an initiative, the pre-initiative is guidelines were issued, officials' motivation was there. All these have contributed for the Amrit Sarovar, but Mann Ki Baat has contributed in sourcing more and more funds, in getting more and more support of the people, in getting more and more like Shramadhan and voluntary services from the people. And of course, conversing departments were also there. So the immediate results that we could see is 10,000 cubic meter of water storage was there, water to livestock, irrigation facility was created, more water conservation works were taken, more fund from different sources, taking pride, because people now, because it was mentioned in Mann Ki Baat, they took pride in their own village, in their own work of Amrit Sarovar. Then it built confidence among them, and beautification of the pond now, though it is not permitted under Narega, they themselves have contributed for this. And creation of festivals, celebration of the festivals also were done here. And long term, of course, groundwater recharge and people going for second crop and increase, because of the second crop, more and more agriculture labor and all these things have happened. And finally, we are expecting that the impact also, the more and more impact of Amrit Sarovars will happen in the shape of increased quality of life among the people. So this is how the Amrit Sarovars have resulted. Okay, next. So Mann Ki Baat, as I was telling, it is just repetition. Mann Ki Baat has contributed for increased importance of the village and interest in the village activities. People now are taking more and more interest in the village activities, and more VIPs are now visiting the villages, because it is mentioned in the Man Ki Baat, they want to study what is that really is happening in that village. So in that way, more and more visits of VIPs, and which any visit of VIP will result in more and more support to the village. That we have seen also. So in that way, they could get official support, they could source more funds, celebration of national festivals, honoring the senior citizens of the village, unity among the villagers, more water conservation activities. So these are all the result of Man Ki Baat that has happened in these villages where Amrit Sarovar was taken up. Okay, next. And it is becoming a model for the neighboring villages, and now neighboring villages are also taking up Amrit Sarovars. Just I can say my own example, I went to Warangal, where now in the neighboring Tandas also they are going for this Amrit Sarovar. But there is a small way forward also we have suggested, that is convergence with other schemes. Though it is a convergence program, still convergence is not happening in full shape. So it is just Mahatma Gandhi Narega is taking more and more burden, more and more contribution for this, and so convergence also have to be focused. Then linking with canals and some dam water which is there, we have seen, because to sustain water in the Amrit Sarovar is one important thing. So for that also some effort should be made. Then extension and strengthening of the bund, because still in few areas the bund extension and strengthening of the bunds has to happen, where more and more water can be stored. That is one. And focus on beautification of the pond, and like in MP, if you see they take the MP, because it is in Canal Forest Zone where tourism also can be attracted. So if more beautification, more livelihoods can be arrived out of it. Then involving local administration and support from public can lead to more fund sourcing. That is one thing. Then incentivization of Amrit Sarovars is also one suggestion, because if it is national wide, if something is there like that, more and more villages go for Amrit Sarovar. This is and few photographs are there. Just maybe next. These are the 4 Amrit Sarovars. Titles are given here. You can see. It is when water was there. Okay, next. These are the field visit photographs, and DG sir also has visited Warangal Amrit Sarovar, and these are the other state photographs. Okay, next. These are like what I was telling, like celebrating the national festivals, and this is the board that is there. Okay, next. So some very good paper coverage also was there. It is not just during our visit, but when it was actually mentioned by Honorable Prime Minister, many papers have covered it, highlighted it, so which has motivated many villages also. So this is what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Director General NIIDPR to please brief on key findings of the study.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shruti Patil, all our esteemed faculty members who are present here, friends from the media. Once again, a warm welcome to you all to the National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj. As my colleagues were mentioning, these studies have been taken up as leading case studies, as best practices. And what better to study best practices than those mentioned by the Honorable Prime Minister in his Man Ki Baat addresses. So we said that these will be leading examples for us to study, to understand. So when we scoured over information through the net and other sources, we found that even though they are mentioned by the Honorable Prime Minister, they got media coverage. These cases were not effectively studied in depth as to what led to the success of these cases, what lessons there are that we can learn from them for replication in other areas, which is the substance of academics, to understand the strengths and weaknesses of initiatives, see their replicability, and try to take it through our academic interaction with the trainees to them, that what are the strengths, weaknesses, and how we can replicate these best practices. So we did this quite well, that we had a number of study groups which went from NIRD or faculty and staff. We spanned across the country, and we studied these best practices mentioned by the Prime Minister in Man Ki Baat addresses. And with a view to understand that, look, what has been the impact of these cases in that vicinity of that initiative, the nearby area, and whether Man Ki Baat mention really helped them. So these were the two objectives with which we conducted the studies, and I myself also became part of the research team after a number of years, because we wanted to maintain consistency across these studies with a view to draw comparison across the different cases, what are the different success factors. So I'll not bore you with the details of all these studies which are given here, and we will hand over the report once it is released shortly after this, that few parameters based on which we studied, we compared the various case studies are given here. One is organizational structure, next one please. Then scalability, how can we scale these, how can we make these initiatives larger. So various parameters has been studied, and the information will be shared with you in the report. You may like to take a look at it as per your convenience. Then income gains from the and benefits from these have also been studied across the different case studies. I'll not dilate upon this. I'll not again go into the details of it. And similarly, we also, as I mentioned, that we're not only trying to look at the impact of these leading cases on the vicinity, on the beneficiaries, but also on how Man Ki Baat influenced the behavior of the beneficiaries, of those around them. As a tool, as a development communication tool, how did it really influence them? That was also part of our study. This is also given in our report. I did not dilate upon this. And I'll now only focus upon what has been missed by the former speakers, which is the cross-case comparison for the self-help groups. And I'll just briefly mention to you, I'd like to, I think, make my address in two parts, as I mentioned, one as a researcher, as the Director General. So I'll speak to you as the Director General once the report is released. So as a researcher, now I speak to you. So self-help groups cross-case comparison, as I was mentioning to you, various aspects and parameters on which we did the cross-case comparison that we showed to you. You can look at them at leisure. What we found during this study is across the self-help groups, basically what is it that we are trying to talk about in self-help groups is that, look, the self-help groups movement is 80 lakh, more than 80 lakh groups are there in the country, across the length and breadth of the country. 8 crore women are associated with these. And they are broadly confined to saving and thrift. So whatever savings are there, వాళ్ళ దగ్గర ఉన్న సేవింగ్స్ వాళ్ళు ఒకరినొకరు పంచుకొని మనీ లెండర్ని దూరంగా పెడుతున్నారు. ఆ లక్ష్యంలో వాళ్ళు సక్సెస్ అయ్యారు. కానీ దానికి ముందుకు వెళ్ళి మైక్రో ఎంటర్ప్రైజెస్ స్థాపించడానికి అది ఇంతవరకు పెద్ద ఎత్తున స్టెప్స్ తీసుకోబడలేదు. జరుగుతున్నాయి, మైక్రో ఎంటర్ప్రైజెస్ వస్తున్నాయి, కానీ మైక్రో ఎంటర్ప్రైజెస్ మంచి సక్సెస్ఫుల్ మైక్రో ఎంటర్ప్రైజెస్ ఎట్లా తీసుకురావాలనేది మన్ కీ బాత్ మెన్షన్స్ ద్వారా ప్రధానమంత్రి గారు మొత్తం దేశానికి తెలియజేశారు. అందుకని మేము ఈ మైక్రో ఎంటర్ప్రైజెస్ ఫార్మేషన్స్ని స్టడీ చేసాం. దీంట్లో ఉన్న సక్సెస్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ ఏమిటని స్టడీ చేసి ఈ సక్సెస్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ ఇప్పుడు మేము ముందు తెలుసుకున్నాం. వన్ వీ హ్యావ్ సెడ్ దట్, లుక్, if the micro enterprises are based in a cluster, there are a group of micro enterprises working together and with one at an apex or otherwise also, then their success rate is much better compared to individual micro enterprises. If they work together in a cluster as a group of micro enterprises, their success rate is better. This we've seen in the case of Tamil Nadu, we've seen the case of bamboo clusters in Assam, and likewise many other cases. And what's also come to light is that, look, some of the initiatives which were mentioned. Can you pass that? Some of the initiatives were mentioned by the Prime Minister. Never found a mention. Can someone guess from what material this could have been made? Plastic. Yeah, plastic. From where the plastic could have been sourced? This is waste plastic which was used. And the women self-help group in Kendrapada, Odisha, they were doing this for more than 9 years, unnoticed, unrecognized. And for the first time, the Prime Minister recognized their effort in his Mann Ki Baat address of February 2023. So such is the power of the Mann Ki Baat, recognizing unrecognized practices, recognizing unrecognized people, their efforts, also showing us newer directions. So that's what such unrecognized initiatives got recognized through the Mann Ki Baat address. That's what we found. And generally speaking, the individuals whose initiatives found a mention, groups whose which were mentioned in the Mann Ki Baat address, they became financially strong. Many people recognized them socially. The initiative was recognized by the bankers, by the financial intermediaries. They all came, supported them. So they were all financially much stronger. Individually, they were stronger. The group was also stronger. Then, as is known, almost everyone felt really motivated, really privileged, honored to find a mention in the Mann Ki Baat address. And that increased their motivation to contribute to the development of the nation. And another similar study was undertaken by the IIM Rohtak, I am told. And that study showed that Mann Ki Baat led to a resurgence of connecting with the development agenda, an increase in the trust towards the government. Many people would think that government is full of corruption, reeking with corruption, and not development oriented and so on. There was a rekindling of attachment to the government. There is a greater trust in the government. People voluntarily felt that, look, we should associate more with the development of this nation, take this country forward. So all these were benefits which flew from the Mann Ki Baat addresses. Next. As I was mentioning, there's an increased social recognition. As in some cases, we did a case in Kadipur village. In Kadipur village, our researchers went there, and it was basically scheduled caste groups which did slipper making. They took to slipper making as an activity. They thought that, look, there's potential for that. And one entrepreneur, leader in that, she studied on the YouTube. Nobody really went and told her. She studied all the process of slipper making on the YouTube. With that, she got the group together, and getting the women to contribute their savings to the group, putting trust in that person to lead the initiative, to develop it. Would we automatically do that? How that we put our savings on someone? I think rarely we do that. But that person motivate, and most of the people, most of these enterprises have leaders who've been able to motivate others to come forward, part with their small savings or all their lifetime savings to set up these enterprises, which are inherently risky. And working together under the leadership of that leader, they succeeded well. That's what these case studies show on multiple fronts. So the social recognition for the women's groups increased. I was talking about Kadipur. In Kadipur in Uttar Pradesh, what happened was that this SHG women self-help group, they took to slipper making, learning it from the YouTube. And after the enterprise was set up, and as a result of Mann Ki Baat mention, there was a lot of social recognition to them. Our case studies, our workers' interaction with them showed that because of that, roads got laid to their bastis, to the SC bastis, which were not accessible. Women are now very happy. They are not happy just because of the income that they are getting, but because of the social recognition. They say that, look, a Bharat, which is the marriage procession in northern India, never used to reach their bastis because lack of road, lack of access. Today, their Bharat goes to their doorstep. They're very happy that, look, like all others, we have marriage processions coming to our houses. So such like social recognitions emanated from the Mann Ki Baat address. And as I was mentioning, the role of leadership is very important, that the other group members came forward, parted with their entire lifetime savings to set up that enterprise, to work for the group, to stabilize it and to help it do well. And as I was mentioning, that cluster-based self-help group micro-enterprises have done well in comparison to individual self-help group micro-enterprises. That's what our study shows. Then those micro-enterprises, such as in the case of Tamil Nadu, Tanjavur, they're making a group of products. They make Tanjavur dolls. They make dancing dolls. In addition, they make a Tanjavur plate and various other products they're making. Initially, there were only 10 self-help, 10 groups which were supporting the sale of these products. The one self-help group, the Apex, is selling the products. And they're drawing those products from a number of other self-help groups. Initially, there were only 10 self-help groups which were there. Then subsequently, they diversified to 22 self-help groups. Each self-help group supplies one product to that marketing SHG. And more diversified it became, the more their sales became, more their profitability, more their financial strength. And there was a case of a lady who was almost on the verge of committing suicide, who was leading this enterprise. Now she's robust, she's doing very well for herself, for her family, getting her children well educated. They are now going to college and they are aspiring to become strong professionals, to do very well for themselves also. So basically, when there was a cluster of products, the micro enterprises did well. Then most of the micro enterprises were not new. Micro enterprises, self-help group micro enterprises, self-help groups, those who may know, Swayam Sevi Samuh, as they are called in Hindi, self-help groups, when they are formed, they are basically focusing on saving and thrift. That women save money, and that is, they lend among themselves. And it takes a period of time for the self-help groups to mature. About 6 years or so, at least 6 years, the self-help groups require to mature. Once they have matured, then they can start setting their micro enterprises. That's what our study has found. And it's also found that it's not that the young women immediately come and start setting up the self-help group micro enterprises, but it is the little older women who have matured, who have gone through the saving and thrift activity. They are able to succeed well in the micro enterprises. Then most of the micro enterprises, we found that end-to-end operations, from procuring raw material, producing the products, to marketing the products, all of it the micro enterprises have to do on their own. There is no aggregator for providing an raw material, a cheap raw material, or for marketing the products. But wherever there is potential for marketing through marketing platforms, such as Saras, such as Purbashri Mela, and so on and so forth, those micro enterprises have done well, pointing to the need for greater marketing support. Next one. Those cases where traditional activities were taken up, they have succeeded well. On the whole, basically, I'll not turn to Amrit Sarovar, as Dr. Dheeraj has presented most of the cross-case analysis. I will not go into details. But what we have found with the self-help group study is that this is pointing the entire self-help group movement of 80 lakh self-help groups, 8 crore women spread across the length and breadth of the country. When we talk about 8 crore women, it means 8 crore families which are getting influenced, pointing to them to a new direction to move forward from saving and thrift to micro enterprise formation. So that, I think, is the broad undertone of the Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat addresses. This is what we have found, and he succeeded well in motivating a lot of people to move towards micro enterprise formation, which will increase the depth and breadth of the rural economy, make it stronger, make the country stronger, and move it towards a developed nation. So that's what I wanted to present, as I mentioned, as a researcher. I'll come back to you to talk about the other aspects once the report is released. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now request DG sir to please release the study report.